I want to really thank everyone for coming, and thank you to the media for coming too. I'm Yvette Felarca, and I teach at Martin Luther King Middle School, and I still teach at Martin Luther King Middle School. I was suspended a week ago on the 21st, and I am fighting this political witch hunt that the Berkeley Unified School District is conducting against me. It's completely politically motivated. It's based on my political activities in standing up against racism and against Nazis and KKK supporters, both in Sacramento, where anti-fascists like myself were stabbed. I was stabbed in the arm and also bashed in the head. I was one of the lucky ones because some people were stabbed and injured way worse than me. But we're committed. Oh yeah, here's.
Thanks again.
Thank you. But but I was doing it to stand up against racism for the rights of my students, most of whom are immigrant students, English as a second language students, and for the future and the rights of everyone in this nation who wants to stand up for equality and who wants to shut down and stop Donald Trump's whole racist and reactionary vision for this country. We can defeat him and shut him down, but that's not going to be solved through the election. It's going to be solved by building a movement that's independent and takes a stand. And I hope that next time, if he or his supporters try to come back, either to California or to the Bay Area or to Sacramento, that there will be more of us out there standing up, because he's dangerous and what he's doing is dangerous. And I appreciate the support of my coworkers, of my students, of the parents of my students who've expressed support for me, whatever their political views or thoughts on what happened in Sacramento, or even what they think of the elections, but who know that as teachers, we have a right to teach our students the truth. And we have the right to teach our students how to think critically and how to advocate and fight for themselves. We have a right to fight for our academic freedom, and we have a right to fight for our pay. And not only was I disciplined by the school district within days after I was stabbed and after the protest, but they took away my entire August paycheck. They deposited the money into my bank account on August 30th. They took the money out of my bank account on August 31st. And they still plan on taking more money out at the end of this month. That is illegal, it's immoral, it's unconscionable, it's attacking our students' teachers. And I'm one of the many teachers who teaches in Berkeley, who fights every day to bring the best education to our students and to teach them how to feel good about themselves, to think well about who they are and where they come from, and to have pride in their communities. As immigrant students, as Black or Latino students, as young white students who really want to fight to make sure that Berkeley remains the most progressive school district in the nation. And so I do want to thank everyone for coming today. We're going to have the mass organizing meeting in a tribunal. I want to introduce and make sure that my attorney, Shanta Driver, who's also a national chair of my civil rights group, BAM, is also here to say something. So thank you.
So I too want to thank everybody for coming out. It's clear that this is a political witch hunt. A week ago, the administration of this Berkeley school district walked in to a faculty meeting in Yvette's school, dragged her out, told her to go to the principal's office, where she was given a letter that said that she was indefinitely suspended from her job. There were no charges in the letter. There's still been no charges against Yvette. The letter was vague, and it urged Yvette not to talk to anyone about the so-called ongoing investigation without specifying what that investigation was. During the course of the last week, it's clear that the Berkeley School District had no basis for suspending Yvette. And so now they're running around trying to find a basis for suspending her. That has meant that her 11 and 12-year-old students, many of whom are immigrant students, they're her English as a second language students, are being dragged to the principal's office, where they are being interviewed by the principal about Yvette Felarca's politics, about what she stands for, And for these students, that can only seem to them as some kind of a threat. Everything that they try to say to protect Yvette, I'm sure the school district is planning to use against her. Their parents were not informed before they were called in for these interviews, which is A, illegal, and B, completely immoral. To try to use students in this district to concoct some charges against their parents, that is something that has to be stopped. If we can beat this attack, this political witch hunt on Yvette, I think that we can clear the way for teachers all over this country to feel like they can come forward, they can express their politics. And in a nation which is becoming more polarized, more divided between those like Donald Trump that are saying that they're going to drive out 16 million immigrants from this nation. You think about that? There's no way to drag out 16 million people from this nation without using concentration camps, without putting people on trains, without committing to a policy of civil war. It just can't happen. It's not a policy in which everyone's going to get a trial and then they're going to be removed. No, it's a policy of mass deportation that is going to require the tactics that were used by the Nazis in the 1930s to start to rid Germany of Jewish people that ended in one of the largest Holocausts known in human history. We can't allow that to happen here. So when Yvette went to Sacramento and she stood against the Nazis, she was standing against that policy of Donald Trump's being realized by thugs in the streets. And if he becomes president of the United States, by ICE and all kinds of internal police forces. I think it's so important for us to win this battle, and I think we can. But it's going to be a battle, and it's going to take time to win it. Of course we'll file legal charges. What they've done around Yvette's firing is an abrogation of her First Amendment rights. It's an abrogation of her due process rights. It obviously is an intentional infliction of emotional distress against Yvette to be put in this position. And it's been based on slander against Yvette. So there are a lot of legal bases for us to be able to fight what happened to her, but we're not going to get her back without a movement. And it's for that reason that I think it's going to be so important for people to come a week from today to the next school board meeting and raise hell. Yeah. The school board of Berkeley has to know this is unacceptable. It won't be tolerated, not in this city. And I think, you know, her union has shown her great support in making this fight to get her pay recouped and to stop this witch hunt against her. And I think if we can combine that with the strength of her students and of this community, then I think we can win her job back. So I thank you all for coming. I hope that Yvette will have a chance to speak at community meetings, at churches, to build this movement for her reinstatement. Because in all honesty, if you can fire one teacher on non-specified charges that you concoct after you suspend them, then no teacher's job is safe in Berkeley. And if your job isn't safe in Berkeley, well then your job isn't going to be safe in Oakland or anywhere else across this nation. So this is a fight we have to win. Thank you.
KTVU? Okay. Just really
yeah, sorry if I was
Yeah, that's okay. Just really quick. So I'm fighting this. This is a political witch hunt by Berkeley Unified School District that they're conducting against me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm fighting this political witch hunt that's being waged against me by Berkeley Unified School District. I'm determined to fight this all the way. to put me on suspension and to discipline me or take my pay away because I've stood up against racism, because I protested against Nazis in Sacramento during my summer vacation, when especially I'm a teacher who teaches immigrant students. That's unconscionable, it's immoral, and it's illegal, and they don't have a right to do this. And I am very grateful to the support of everyone who's here, who represents a lot more people beyond this. Yeah. Because I know that Berkeley is still Berkeley. Yeah. And the school board may or may not know that yet, but we do know it. And so I'm so thankful to my students and my former students, to my coworkers, to the parents and community. I'm very glad that the BFT is supporting me and filing a grievance on my support around my pay. But it's going to take a movement to keep building and fighting for me, because it's not just me that they're going after. They're really going after teachers' rights, and they're also going after the rights of my students and their families to take a stand for themselves, to learn the truth, one, and also to choose to take action to stand up for the truth against racism, against hypocrisy, and against Donald Trump's whole racist and reactionary vision for this country. We can beat him, we can beat this witch hunt, but it's going to take us continuing to fight. So,
what were the reasons behind the school board?
They gave no reason for the suspension. In fact, we have copies that we're going to give out in the meeting inside of the suspension letter that they gave me that specifically give no reasons and suspend me indefinitely.
Just for people to know.
Yeah, I do ask people to come to the school board meeting.
Sure. It's Shanta, S-H-A-N-T-A, driver, D-R-I-V-E-R, and I'm the national chair of BAM, and I'm proud to be Yvette Felarca's attorney in this case.
And you're also the attorney?
I am, yeah. Thank you. No, we're going to win this. But we're going to win it in the streets before we win it in the courts, and that's why just this outpouring of support for Yvette on so little notice, and with the district trying to make it as confused and as confusing as possible about what is going on and misrepresenting the truth about Yvette. To have this kind of a turnout makes clear we can win, but we've got to keep fighting. No, we haven't had discussions yet because I haven't come up with any charges against Yvette. We have had discussions with students and their parents who also want to bring a lawsuit against the district for dragging their children into the principal's office to try to concoct some charges against Yvette Felarca without the parents' permission. And we're talking about 11 and 12-year-old students. We're talking about the sons and daughters of people in this community, many of whom do not speak English. And for this kind of assault to be taken against the students and their parents to conduct this political witch hunt is just, it's insane, it's unconscionable, and it has to be stopped.
Okay, thank you to the press. Thank you, everyone.
We're going to go on and
have a meeting.
The room is around this side.
Go this way. We got some pizza. We got some packets for everyone. So
the meeting room is around this